So I've known Jen for over 20 years. She was 14, I was 16, I think. We've known each other since. I grew up at like 321 on this block here. The very next block over, she grew up, and her house number is 321. Just a lot of weird coincidences. And her first person that she worked for was my mother. And we had like mutual friends. Like one of my good friends was one of her best friend's brothers. So we always cross paths a lot, spent time like here and there together and stuff. But, and then unfortunately, like after high school years, I went my route and she kind of went hers. I chose a darker path, and, and then we ended up, we really didn't speak.
We spoke like, so you want me to chime in? Okay. So we grew up, I was actually thinking about this earlier. So we grew up on parallel roads, right? And with the same numbered address. And like throughout life, although our lives went completely different paths for a long time, we still had like these parallels in our worlds. And it was just really amazing. So, like he said, like a lot of, same friend circles throughout high school, and then we went our separate ways. We've both been married prior, and we both have children from our previous relationships, and so kind of like he used to stalk my Facebook, and I did the same thing. So I'm not gonna lie, there was always like a little bit of an interest there, but nothing ever, nothing came to fruition at that time. Fast forward 8 months ago, my brother was he's been active in addiction for about 10 years until about 8 months ago, and it was really strange. I got a call. I had to go to my parents' house, and what I found was like it was just, I don't know how my brother was alive at that point. The needles and the everything that I found in his room, it was just absolutely horrific. And I was telling actually Mike this the other day, this feeling of like just something needs to be done and it needs to be done now came over me. And the first person I thought of was him. Now, we hadn't talked in like, a while, and I don't know why that happened. I don't know. I mean, maybe I know now why, it kind of makes sense now, but he just came to mind, and I sent him a message on Facebook Messenger, and I said, I need help. And
hi or nothing.
Yeah,
just I need help.
I wasn't even like, hey, how are you, buddy? What's up? I just like, I need help. And I told him exactly what was going on. And he had my brother in treatment within, I think it was like 7 hours. And yeah, we just never stopped talking. And then it was like a little joke because I was like, I owe you. And he was like, oh, you don't owe me anything. Like, I was like, well, we'll see. And then he got the hint. Like, it was just like a little joke kind of thing, but yeah, we've been together, ever since. We hung out maybe like 4 or 5 days after my brother entered treatment. I had been going through a lot, just ending a very narcissistic relationship with somebody who was in recovery and had relapsed. And it was a very codependent relationship. And it was just crazy. Like, we met and spent hours talking about everything he's been through and everything I've been through. And now we're here.
Yeah, the very first night that we hung out, I told her things that I never told anyone. Like, we both just laid everything out on the table and just, spewed it all out all over the table. And there wasn't 1% of me that felt any kind of judgment or uncomfortableness or anything. It was just a relief, and like, it was so natural. It just felt so natural. It really did. And it's been every day since.
Yeah. Damn, how fast
pretty much together?
What'd you say?
How fast did you guys move in together? Are you living together now?
Yeah.
So that's actually kind of funny. So he was in the process of moving actually closer to me, and I had my own place and everything with my kids. And really, we should have just moved in together right away, because he had his apartment like that was like 5 minutes from my place, and we were never apart. so it was like this waste of money for maybe like 5 or 6 months. And then he just ended his lease early and we ended up getting a house together. So
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
When he started sharing like that, it brings me back to when my husband and I first met, kind of. He had just this undeniable ability to just be so honest and talk
Mhm.
feelings. And it was news to me because I wasn't in recovery really at that moment at all. So, I mean, that turned me on. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, guys have feelings, like you're sharing so real." Like,
Absolutely.
did that happen for you too?
Yeah, 100%, because like it's like we were talking earlier about just kind of like sometimes that too much softness is like but he's he's like he's just like he's perfectly imperfect to me. And yeah, he has no problem being totally like vulnerable with me, and I'm the same exact way. And I think it does beautiful things for both of us. Our pillow talk at night is hilarious and then gets serious. And then, sometimes we cry of the things that we go through. But the fact that like I have another human being that I can lay next to at night and love so deeply, it's just God.
Yeah,
God's work.
I never, and just based off so many previous relationships and stuff, I just never thought it was possible. Like, I
Same.
never thought I could be my true, authentic self with another human being, like with another woman. You know what I mean? Like, I learned to love myself through recovery, and I learned to know my value, my worth, and everything like that. But to be able to be so honest and so transparent with a partner and a true partner, like in my corner, and to be my biggest fan and push me to do better and expect more. I didn't think it was possible, it's something I never experienced, and I'm not letting it go. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
Ditto.
Oh my gosh, I love it. How much recovery did you have before you guys got together, Mike? And what do you think, like, what work did it take to get you to the point where you could allow someone to love you like that? Because I know for me anyways, it was a battle to get with someone that actually loved me when I was sick. I didn't want it. I wanted it far away from me because I felt like the asshole in the relationship. Like,
Yeah, I made a typical, I wouldn't say mistake. It was a learning experience, and got into a relationship in early recovery, ended up marrying someone, which unfortunately, it didn't work out. And I really, and that's why we say don't do that early on, because, honestly, I'm just starting to learn how to navigate my own emotions and handle these things and everything. And then I got to start worrying about someone else's and, mine on the back burner. And, it was a risky situation, which kind of led to why I had to kind of remove myself out of that relationship as well, though, because I fought so fucking hard, excuse my language, but I fought so damn hard to get to the point that I was at. I told you guys, earlier about really where my turning point was when, I'm in the ICU as John Doe, after being almost murdered with a hammer and, after brain surgery and titanium plate put in my head, not even knowing who I was. And I still get in a relationship after that. Like, and I don't even know myself, so even like in hindsight, I'm like, what the hell was I doing? And it ended up being with a person that just wasn't meant to be. Like, it wasn't meant to be. So, and that kind of like led on to why I didn't think this was even possible still, because I didn't even at that point still truly know my worth. I knew there was more out there for me. God wasn't finished with me yet. That much I knew. But then, it was just it was another awakening for me, when she came into my life, and it just blossomed so much from there. And then I, like, honestly, when I say together we can move mountains, like, I swear to God, we can move mountains. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not kidding. She gives me the drive that like no one has ever done in my entire life. So I had a handful of time, before that, it was just she reminds me of my worth, and and keeps me on the road of my assignment that God gave me to do. And so that's just a beautiful thing. Yeah.
I think it's pretty common, it's not an unusual story when you come into recovery and you want, like the husband, the wife, like you want the kids, the picket fence,
Yeah.
and you fight so much. And it's almost like you're kind of just, well, I'm sober now. I guess this is what I do. I got to find, the other partner and move along. And sometimes it happens very quickly, and it may
Yeah.
not be decisions. And how great for you to be able to recognize that and release her, I'm sure, to say, hey, this is not live
Oh yeah,
her life. And now you're able to, find your
really.
soulmate.
Yeah. It was such a, and I had the self-awareness, luckily, where I knew it was just the bad situation for me that I was in, and it put my sobriety at risk. And like I said, I came way too far to get to that point. And like, I am a person that says, like, anything we put forward before our recovery is the first thing we're going to lose. And the biggest thing I lost during addiction and alcoholism was myself. Like, and I finally found this guy. Like, I finally found who I truly, authentically was. Like, I never even knew myself this whole time. Like, I used and drank for over 20 years. Like, and I never even truly knew who the hell I was. Like, I thought my favorite color was blue. And come to find out, it's not. Like, that's how deep it was. Like, I truly knew nothing about myself because I was just numbing every emotion and going around everything the easier, softer way. And, finding excuses after excuse and pointing fingers and not taking any accountability for my situation and really do any internal work to recognize like who I really am and like why I'm here. Thank God by his grace and mercy that I know that today. And that's the path that I stay on.
What were the steps that you think you took when I want to go back to this because you were saying you're in the hospital bed, like you had to have brain surgery, can't walk, can't talk. I mean, we kind of just brushed over that part when you first said that.
No big deal.
Before the show, I was like, what is this? I didn't even know that part of your story. I was just like, I can't even believe it when you say it in that picture you showed us too. Like, what were the steps that you took? You told us before that you made a decision like, nope, this isn't how I'm gonna go. Like, I'm not gonna end up a vegetable. Then what happened after that? What decisions did you make? What were the steps?
Leading up to it, okay, so I'm just like most alcoholics addicts. Like I'm very stubborn. I've learned everything the hard way. I need to fail miserably and then think I can do it again and do it on my own and try it again and again and again and just keep failing and falling flat on my face. There's suicide attempts, there's stabbings, there's overdoses, purposely and on accident, many hospitals, I mean, you name it, like, jails, institutions, all of them for so many years of my life. And it finally just led up to this was really enough was finally enough when, I was selling drugs and stuff like that. And, to try to support my habit, but also I'm homeless the entire time too. So, and I ended up, I get in this big physical fight and, the guy, I thought I got the upper hand. I start walking away and going away. And, the guy turns around, goes back in his house and comes back out with a hammer from behind me and just cracks me in the side of the head with it and shatters my cranium. I'm in the street for a couple hours dying before an ambulance gets to me. They rush me to brain surgery in a hospital and trauma center. They have to saw this whole side of my skull off and replace it with titanium, close it with 30 staples. So I wake up in the ICU. I have nothing in my pockets, of course. Everything was taken out by whoever else was around me. I guess this is down in Philadelphia. I wake up as John Doe. I don't know who I am. They don't know who I am. I look in the mirror. I see a guy with a half-shaven head and 30 staples in it. I don't even know who the fuck I'm looking at. Talk about powerless. Like, this is one of the most powerless moments of my entire life. And but like I said to you guys before, like that was my spiritual awakening though. Like it truly, truly was. I didn't know who I was, my name. I didn't remember anyone in my life. I didn't remember anything about my life. The only thing I remembered was scripture, which was insane to me. And I knew it was something way bigger than myself. It was not me, thinking these things, but the other part of it was kind of two-parted because the other part was also like, I always thought of the word forgiveness as just a word. You say sorry to me, I say, okay, I forgive you. And that's it. It wasn't until that moment when I truly felt an overwhelming sense of forgiveness for whoever put me there, why ever I'm there. I forgive them like immediately. which is something I would never do. Like, you know, I'd be the type to get revenge in any kind of way. I wasn't a nice person when I was out there, and that I knew was way beyond me too. So I knew there was someone else there with me. So that was I couldn't even walk or talk or speak, and that's the line of communication that I had. So that's what I used. Just listening and talking. And I'll always remember, like, especially the scripture, like, forgive them for they know not what they do. That stuck out to me when I was there. And that's literally what brought that emotion on, of just forgiveness and taking accountability and knowing that what put me there was my fault at the end of the day, period. You know, and then it was just a whole growth process from there of just holding on to that, getting out of the ICU, and then going to physical therapy, speech therapy, vocational therapy for that, like, next year. I'm getting picked up in a van. I have Medicaid. They're taking me down to therapy. And I bust my ass there. I bust my ass and started walking, slightly talking, mumbling. I sound like a complete idiot when I spoke. And then, like I said, after that, I had to go back to jail again. I did 9 more months in jail. I'm in a psych unit, and I'm there. Usually it's like a 14-day stay. People stay in these places and get cleared, and then they leave. I was there for 3 months. I was like a pillar of the community. Like, at this point, like, people are coming and going. I'm there. I'm like a full-time resident there, and I'm staying there. They're testing me cognitively the whole time I'm there, a few different times. And they tell me 3 different times that I'm mentally retarded. And after 3 months, insurance stopped paying after like 14 days or so, their scholarship, because they literally don't even know what to do with me. They told me that their best suggestion for me was to go live in a traumatic brain institute for the rest of my life. So acceptance is a huge part of my story. When I was out there and homeless for all those years and doing these things and in jails and all these hospitals and stuff, I accepted the fact that's probably as best my life is going to get. I just accepted that. I was like, this is what it's going to be. It is what it is. It's not going to get any better. I accepted that. Like, but at this point, like, I would not accept that. Like, I knew I was making progress. No one else saw it, but I knew it, and I knew that God knew it. And I just kept going, and I absolutely refused to do that. And then just kept on working on myself. And, I got involved with the program, and, some people from that program saved my life and took me in and let me begin my journey.